Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today, take number 2 on the Gladiator max block dual wield savior kind of dude that I've done like a week ago or 1.5 weeks ago. But a lot of people didn't like it because there was no map showcase included, and I was just non-stop talking about the build, how much I like it, and so on. And it wasn't even finished. At this point, I have a second take on it just because they released the green cyclones. I was like, hey, why not go again? And let me quickly close my Discord before I get like spammed here and the video is ruined. Okay, there you go. So this time around, it's more finished than before, let's say. So with my roomies, I am now able to maintain the max block here. I did my Delve 600. I'm not entirely res cap here, but that's not a problem. I'm having just an endurance charge on when I get hit, so I'm maintaining my maximum frenzy and endurance charges even on bosses to keep my 10% physical damage, more physical damage and reduced physical damage taken, so that's absolutely no problem. Today I've even done the Delve 600, so for today's map showcase, I would say, let's take any kind of longer node that is not like this one, for example. This is like Delve 598 now for the map showcase. Then we run a typical other map. So basically, it's a Slayer, not a Slayer. It's a Cyclone Gladiator, and I want to talk about later why I actually prefer the Gladiator as my main melee character these days, because I think it offers just so much speed and momentum, right? And it's a lot of fun to play as well, and it's pretty much a template for any kind of character, right? As I said, running max block, a lot of physical damage mitigation. We have Soul of Steel, which gives us more maximum resistance and so on. And in this showcase, yes, I do play with a Headhunter. That's kind of a nice item to play around with, especially in Delve. So if I get like super speedy, that's because of the Headhunter. But at the moment, I'm not having any kind of speed buffs. This is my actual movement speed that I have. I'm running around with Tailwind and Elusive Boots. I'm having about 260% increased movement speed on that one, right? So that's why it looks quite fancy here. And this is something you can reach definitely without Headhunter. But the major problem is I'm currently having 240 dexterity. Means if I unequip my Headhunter, I'm missing dexterity for my foil. And therefore, I'm just too lazy right now to just get my dex going to show you some footage without Headhunter. So yeah. Haters gonna hate, lovers gonna love anyway. So this was the Delve showcase. Then we're gonna run any tier 16 map. I'm just done with the Conquerors. We've done Uber Elder. We've done every content here on this game. As you see, I just did my Uber Elder. So the footage of the Cirus here is at the end of the video. If I want to watch this, I just want to make one thing sure. It's an Awakener level 7 because of a mistake that I made. I was choosing up my maps here when I did the last Conqueror. I was using those watchstones here to really choose it up fully, right? And I did not check it. I had 3 of those in, so I was running my maps, and then I spawned Cirus, and I was like, wait a second, why is this item monster level 83? And it was because of level 7, because all the users, the remaining users were gone, okay? So this is how it looks like when I spawned Cirus, because I forgot to check that I put in the other watchstones again. So that was kind of sad. But anyways, the difference between 7 and 8 is just more life, right? So it still shows the Cirus fight at the end of the video. So therefore, we're gonna run a tier 16 map. Probably Crimson Temple is pretty cool map to run here. I'm just going to try to not run it with Beyond. So yeah, this looks kind of fine. It's hex proof, so we cannot even don't even get power charges here. We're just gonna run it flat, I would say. So you just see the map showcase. Basically, as a Gladiator, you want to stance dance between Blood and Sand and Flesh, and the Blood stance and Sand stance. The Blood stance will maintain your damage and the what's it called, the arena challenge charges for single target, and the the Sand stance is basically your mapping stance where you are basically blinding enemies and get your arena challenge charges going. As you see, it's super fast. We just spawned the next Conqueror. It just right click and go, right? It's super fun build. I really enjoyed. I did not want to go back to Cyclone. This was a Bladestorm character before. We tried out some other things because this is a template character. Means whatever skill I want to play, it's a pure fizz Impale, works with Lacerate, with Bladestorm, with I don't know, like any kind of melee skill that you think is the best for you. But since I decided to do Delve 600 today, I just think personally that Cyclone is the best delving skill But yeah, you can play Spectral Throw, like whatever you want to do as a pure Fizz character, it's going to work. So we're just gonna run around here. Let's quickly kill the boss here. Blood Stance, getting my totems down, my Val, what's it called? The Val Molten Shell for another layer of defense. Let's just spawn this dude here. So we get another totem down, a second totem from the Val Ancestor War Chief. Pop your flasks. Then you're just gonna get him low. Holy shit, that dude is tanky. You're just gonna get him low, switch to Sand Stance, and then you're just gonna keep on AoEing the others down, and in the meanwhile, the boss should die as well. There you go, it's dead. In terms of the Metamorph, I gotta say this is kind of cheating with the Headhunter, because the Metamorph will spawn, as soon as he spawns ads, there is going to be, I don't know, like at least 10 rare packs or something like that. So you're gonna fill up with a lot of Headhunter buffs to finish him off. But yeah, this is Headhunter playstyle, you know. As I said, I know that I will get comments about it, and I personally don't care. I want to show you this build because I think this build is just super nice. I currently have a play time of 1 day, 11 hours. I did level 95 already, so I wasn't really dying too often. I think I did delve 400 to 600 today, and I probably died, hard to say, I would say 5 times. I'm not entirely sure, but all of these times, like 2 times I died on a what's it called, the Betrayal node, and the other 3 times were zombies in Deeper Delve. The reason for that is both nodes, like both the Betrayal and the zombies, if you kill them, they're gonna respawn a Chaos Ground, you know, and having minus 60 Chaos Resistance, you die in probably in blink of an eye, you know. You cyclone through a pack of zombies and you're dead, you know. So these were the only deaths that I had, so all the other nodes were super fine to do. So I'm super happy with the build at the current state. As I said, we're max block. We're having permanent frenzy and endurance charge. This is super easy to maintain here. No other fancy jewel like we had on the other build, which I would consider a god tier jewel with like 120 multiplier and so on. This timeless jewel is only endurance charge when I get hit and frenzy charge on hit. As I said, we have the outmatch and outlast ascendancy, which says we're gonna get frenzy charges on kill with main hand and endurance on kill with offhand. But for Cirus and bosses, we never kill somebody, so we cannot maintain that. But as a gladiator, you get 10% more physical damage while at maximum frenzy, and you get 10% reduced physical damage taking, which is a super nice layer of defense once you reach the maximum number of endurance charges. And the way I did it here, this is how I can permanently sustain that without any other fancy nodes. And we are max block, we have Soul of Steel, we have, like, the next 5 levels would be more area of effect, more life, so we're gonna hit 5k life pretty much soon. And here I'm currently trying to get mbDexterity or something, what's this node? But this one gives you like 1 million Shaper DPS, this node here. This one gives you 2 million Shaper DPS. So in the end, there is so much room for improvement still, but I think this build is just super fun to play, and a lot of, how should I say, it's tanky. As I said, I wouldn't reach level 95 in 2 days of playing this character if it would be shit or dying like any other character. One thing I want to note, this is not a Headhunter build in the typical sense. There is only one Headhunter build, and this is the Self-Cursed Temp Chains, which works on this character as well, but I personally don't like it. I tried it out, I played several maps with like Triple Beyond and Self-Cursed Temp Chains, but I prefer it when my character can do all content. When somebody's whispering me, hey MBX, can you carry my Cirus? I'll just say like, yeah, invite, and we do it, instead of a Self-Cursed Temp Chain setup where I cannot even do any kind of bosses, right? It's super nice for mapping, but other than that, I want to do Delve, I want to do every content with my characters, and that's why I just want to stay away from any kind of Self-Cursed Temp Chain setup. So that means if you have a Headhunter or not, doesn't really matter. For me, as I said, I cannot use that because I need to get like 50 dexterity or something to get my foil going, and I was too lazy to do that before the video. But let's talk about the gear. How did I manage to pull this one off? We have a like Cyclone helmet chant, if you can afford, not necessary. I was playing with the Crown of the Inward Eye before, right? This is, where do we have it? I think I still have one of those laying around because I plan to play a Spectral Throw with this character as well. So I was playing with this one just with, because the I was playing Bladestorm before, actually. Yes, I have it still here on my offhand, so Bladestorm. But since I said, you know what, I wanted to push Delph today, I'm going to switch Cyclone because it's just so good. So you can play any kind of character or any kind of melee skill with this type of playstyle. So just life, resistance, and if you want to, jagged fossils for the nearby enemies take 9% increased physical damage. Nice to have. Is it necessary? No, it's not, okay? Any kind of life resistance will do just fine. I'm having here Blood and Sand, Dread Banner, Precision, a little bit leveled because I have an Elrion Ring. I'm going to talk about that later to have my Cyclone cost 0 mana. So I can also level up my Precision to get like 100% hit chance. I still need to level it up a little bit, but I'm short on mana at the moment, so I'm having 99% hit chance, which is totally fine, as obvious. And Enlighten support. Then for the weapon, I'm using the Savior. They are getting pretty much cheap, to be honest. I think they went for like 10 or 11 exalts. The last time I did the video, they were like 25 exalts or something, so they're getting affordable, I would say. And we're 1.5 months into the league, so definitely something to look out for. It makes almost every melee skill, every skill that is good with this skill, for example, Cyclone, Bladestorm, Blade Flurry, like especially the strike skills like Molten Strike or Flicker Strike, or whatever strike you want to play, this is a big gain for your DPS. It basically says once you crit with this weapon, that's why I have it in my main hand, so it crits. It's the first strike that crits and spawns those dudes. I'm spawning a Reflection that copies my stats and the damage and does half of my damage, but I can have 2 reflections, so once I hit with this and 2 reflections spawn, I have basically 100% more damage from my from this sword. And there is, I don't know if you, probably a Mirror Tier sword can have the equivalent damage to this one, but a Mirror Tier sword costs like 300 exalts, maybe the Mirror plus the fee, and this one is 10 exalts, so this is probably one of the best things in the game right now for any kind of melee character. I'm having here cast one image taking low level with an Immortal Call and Blood Rage, so I don't have to cast it myself. In the offhand, this time around I used a Jeweled Foil. This one is not bad. It has, I divided it up to 500 DPS, so it's far away from any kind of Mirror Tier sword. And I did some testing with the Paradoxica, because I wanted to finally check it. How much DPS do I have with a Paradoxica? How much with a 500 DPS foil? And the damage difference is really minor. So I would say it's definitely, I think I have like 2 or 3% less damage with my current gear with a Paradoxica than with a 500 DPS foil. This foil is good, it has 500 DPS, but it has no crit chance on it, okay? There is a hybrid Warlord mod on it, which is not bad, but you definitely want to go for attack speed, critical strike chance, and then as high as physical damage goes as like you can afford. I paid 30 exalts for this one, might even be overpaid at this point because it has no crit. So having here Leap Slam, Ancestral War Chief, and faster attacks. If you really want to be safe, you could use that one with Blood Magic, and then you're completely off or to reserve all of your mana. So then for the chest, I'm running an Explo base crit chest. So I was mixing the Crusader's Explo with an Awakener Orb with a Hunter critical strike chance. This chest turned out pretty shitty, I have to say. It just had those 2 mods. Then I was like nulling it off, then multi-modding for life and yeah, actually life and max life, and then I slammed it, and the slam was stun and block recovery, so can get definitely better. In here, Cyclone with Impale support, 45 melee physical damage if you can get the Awakened, then Brutality if you can get the Awakened. They are actually not even too expensive, like 3 or 4 exalts for the Brutality. The melee fist is definitely more expensive, and then Infused Channeling for another layer of defense, so we're gonna get more damage and physical damage reduction. For the gloves, I choose to go with some self-crafted gloves. I was mixing Culling Strike with block attack damage, which is the Elder and Shaper mod. So the suffixes is something I wanted to do, and then I just slammed a couple of times trying to get some good prefixes, which did not really happen yet. But I think Culling Strike with the Explo mod is just super nice for the big chain reactions that you are going on. I have here cast one image taking high level setup with a Molten Shell, Val Molten Shell that is. Vulnerability, I actually forgot to swap that. That is actually not true because I have my vulnerability hit now, so I was just playing without vulnerability before I crafted this ring, so I could have this one. So this is actually fail spot here. And one thing I want to mention, I'm having here Immortal Call and Molten Shell. These are both Guardian skills and do not trigger together or cannot be maintained together, right? But it's still Val Molten Shell, and every time I'm going for the boss or the Metamorph, I'm popping my Vile Molten Shell to have like a big damage reduction here, so it's way more safer. I don't care which of those two then proc while mapping, because usually I don't need that. And then increase duration to make them last longer. Then for my boots, I was mixing Elusive and Tailwind. Then I was annuling it, multi-modding it for Onslaught, Movement Speed, Life, and then I slammed it for Lightning Resistance, which is quite nice to have, but yeah. It's like hard, you know, there is items like this one where you mix two suffixes. I mixed here block attack damage with Culling Strike is two suffixes. If you hit a third good suffix, you can start basically meta crafting or slamming or whatever you want to do. But this time around with the Elusive and Tailwind, the problem is Elusive is a prefix and the Tailwind is a suffix, so it's way harder to get good pair of Elusive Tailwind boots going than it is with something like that here. I'm having here Pride, Flesh and Stone, Maim, and Enlighten support. So these two setups are my Aura setups. Then we have here double cast damage taken setup, and here Leap Slam for if you need to go over ledges and stuff. Usually this is a walking build, so I pop my flask and just hold down right click and profit basically. Leap Slam is something I don't really use at all. That's why I don't have any endurance charge or body fire or anything like that, because I have it here on my chest as well. Talking about the amulet, this one is chaos spammed. I took like, holy shit, I don't know how many chaos. Now we hit tier 1 base attack damage and multiplier. Then I multi-modded this one with life, weapon range, and then I slammed it and hit tier 4 intelligence, which looks kind of bad, but as you know, as a melee type of character, you are very, very starved on any kind of intelligence. At some point I was actually playing with this jewel here. Where do we have it? Jewel, this one, which converts the passives, the strength passives, into intelligence, so I could somehow get my 114 intelligence for the infused channeling or the 90 for the enlightened support. So on that specific matter here, it's not even too bad to hit like a nice intelligence roll, which saved up a skill point. Then I have Whispers of Doom, so I have double curse because of my ring that I was crafting. I mixed Vulnerability Warlord with the Assassin's Mark from the Shaper. Then I nulled it off, multi-modded it, and then I slammed and I actually hit the tier 1 life. So I know that these items are pretty good. Let's say Assault, D&D, perfect. On these items, I want to show you how I've done something like that. That works with the ring, that works with all the other items. If you're having just suffixes on your item, for example, this ring, you know, you have life as a prefix and double suffix, right? I can't actually show you that on this one because the prefixes here do suck. So what you can do is just, you know, you're just gonna do suffixes cannot be changed, right? Bam. Then you can basically just scour off your item. And then you're left over with just the suffixes, right? So 3, 2, 1, bam. I'm just having these gloves that I crafted with a triple tier 1 suffix, which are nice, okay? The same works with this one. You just make sure on the ring here that you craft a suffix and then slam, okay? The thing is, if you're having a double suffix here as the vulnerability and the Assassin's Mark, and you're just slamming it right away and you hit a suffix and this one is bad, then you're forced to annul it off, right? But if you're crafting a suffix, then you just slam a prefix. If it's good, then keep it. If not, then you can just like, suffixes cannot be changed and you're always safe in reverting that. It's the same way that I just did here. So now I can basically just slam twice. Always make sure to block anything, right? So we're just gonna test this one here. We're just gonna block mana as my prefix, right? So I can always craft, switch the mana to suffixes cannot be changed and revert. And now we can basically slam twice, like 1, I got physical attack damage, tier 1, and 2, we got lightning damage to attacks. So these are actually not even bad. Now I can basically just craft some life on it, right? So let's try to get the 70 life back. And now we got some pretty nice gloves here, right? I mean, the lightning damage to attacks is kind of bad, obviously, because this is a physical build, but definitely the tier 1 fist damage that we just got is super nice. What I can do now is basically suffixes cannot be changed. So this one are pretty nice now with tier 1 fist damage to attacks. I could now craft suffixes cannot be changed, trying to save it with annual orbs to remove the lightning damage. And then keep on going like that, and once I ruined it completely, I just removed the life, suffixes cannot be changed, I scour off, and this is the same how I did with this ring and other items, where I just crafted one suffix to save the item, and then just slam, and whatever your currency allows you to do, you're gonna craft items like that. And this is basically all self-crafted gear. I did not buy any kind of item on trade. Just one item I bought, and this is the Elrion's Ring. So the Elrion Ring is a modifier, a temple modifier, that says -9 mana cost of all skills, and this still count for Cyclone, okay? The problem is, this is a temple mod and not an influence mod. Means you cannot Awakener Orb these together, okay? So that's why we slammed it with an Awakener Orb, with a Warlord's Mort and got the multiplier out of that. So this one is a pretty nice ring, having the Elrion's mod, having attack speed, having multiplier, and then just multi-mod it with life and increase damage, whatever you need. So totally, my rings are super nice. Amulet could be better, to be honest. And yeah, that's about the character. So for the flask, we have a bleed immunity flask, which is not really too necessary because I'm running a jewel with corrupted blood. But still, it's nice to have. Then a bottled faith for the crit. Then Rumi's concoction, as I said, with this one, we're max block. At the moment, we're 55. Here, we're 75. But if we get hit, then we get another 8%. So I can actually have 47% and still be max block as soon as I get hit, right? Then we have a diamond flask, since the crit build with freeze immunity, and the quicksilver flask to move faster. Let's take a look at the skill tree. What changes have I here? Actually, it's just the arena challenger charges with outmatch and outlast, as I explained before, with the timeless jewel here with the endurance and frenzy charge generation. And then Painforged and Versatile Combatant for the max block. So basically this one says your block spell damage is equal to your block attack damage. That means you just focus on attack damage and you will get the same amount of spell block on top of that. That's why we are block capped here on attack and spell block. Other than that, all these spell nodes here, the block nodes here and here, then life, crit, accuracy, nothing too special. Here we have a nice attack speed. Make sure that you gather those Impale nodes over here. If you want, Soul of Steel. If not, then you can go up here, amplify, discipline and training, and other stats like that. I have here on the left side the Red Nightmare. This is a jewel that is not even expensive. I think like 100 chaos if even. Which says fire and all resistance in radius get you chance to block attack damage. So all of these nodes here give me now block attack damage, these ones as well. And this is why I traveled through these nodes, because all of these nodes are all resistance nodes, and all of these will give me block attack damage. So with having this one in, it gives me a bunch of, let's see, we're currently having 55, and now I'm having, so 10% block attack damage, which is equal then block spell damage with this jewel, so that is super nice to have. Other than that, nothing too special here. Path of Building link is in the description below. I went with the challenger charges first, then outmatch and outlast, and then the block nodes at the end. Good. Then we have the Pantheons. I'm currently running Solaris and Shakari. Solaris for another layer of defense and Shakari for the poison immunity. For the bandits, I helped the Lyra for the crit multiplier and the all resistance. Then as far as the, what else is missing? Nothing actually, right? Cosmetics, the full Ghost Flame set. Ghost Flame, Ghost Flame, Ghost Flame, Ghost Flame, Ghost Flame, Corsair, Corsair, Ghost Flame, Corsair, Ghost Flame, Corsair, Metamorph Portal, and yeah. Then we have Abyss Eyes and Holy Eyes that you probably can... Is there any difference actually if you move them? Yeah, this is like green, and now we have some white eyes, so pretty fancy on that part. So it's all mixed about Ghost Flame and the Corsair having the double Seraph sword as my favorite sword MTX. Then we have the Ghost Flame Cyclone, the Huntsman Immortal Call, then we have the Celestial Leap Slam, the Void Ancestral War Chief, then we have double Celestial Blood and Sand and Flesh and Stone, I think. Then we have Invisible on the Banner effect, the Imp Aura effect, Malmuttenshell doesn't have anything, and the Corsair Aura effect. So pretty fancy green looking, the Green Nightmare probably, right? There is a jewel that is called Green Nightmare. Here we have the Red Nightmare, but this character is pretty much the Green Nightmare, just because on how much fun it is. And it has to be probably my most favorite melee ascendancy as well as the playstyle itself. Good, I think that's it for now. As I said, now I'm going to show you the Cirus kill that I did before, sadly on Awakener level 7, but I've done multiple Awakener level 8 carries today. Path of Building link is in the description below. If you want to have any other information on this character, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and yeah, see you in the next video. Wait. You gotta be fucking kidding me. My stones ran...
real challenge. You've finally caught my attention. Die.
That's bullshit now.
The others found strength in their projections. They became reliant on them. And not so this. Yes. Be silent. Die.
This city is nothing. Glorious flames! Be utterly annihilated. Fury of the cosmos. You are...
Is life really interesting enough to warrant all this pain?
is doomed.
Die.
This city is nothing.